In this video, I'm going to walk you through how to go live in accounting. So this is going to be bringing data from an Excel spreadsheet that was probably from an old system into Odoo. We already have everything formatted into the Odoo format. So first, let's look at our dashboard. Everything is brand new. The only thing that we have done is activate developer mode by scrolling down and activating developer mode down here. And we went into inventory and we enabled storage locations and multi-step routes so that we can take a look at our locations in a minute. Let's go to our sample data set. We have products, open invoices, open bills, chart of accounts, our trial balance, and our inventory count. The first thing we want to look at is our chart of accounts. The best course of action is to export our original chart of accounts that are default for your localization and change the accounts based on your current accounts with the minimal manipulation needed. So I'm going to walk through some of the changes I made here based on the chart of accounts in our old system. So we have default in Odoo. Anything that's yellow here is something that was exported from Odoo and changed. And all of the white are standard accounts that we have not touched. So these yellow accounts, starting from the top, we have our Chase Bank. So originally named Bank, outstanding payments, outstanding receipts. We added Chase Bank in front of them to denote our Chase Bank. Keep in mind that outstanding receipts and payments are similar to undeposited funds in other accounting softwares such as QuickBooks. We have our inventory valuation account that's originally named inventory valuation. We added commercial towards the end, and this is because we're going to have two inventory valuation accounts to separate income from commercial and residential products. Next, we have tax received and tax payable, which were the original names. We just added sales in front of each of them. We have capital investment, which was originally named capital. We have our commercial cost of goods sold, which was just cost of goods sold originally. Then down here we have some green accounts. These are all new accounts that were added because we didn't have anything to fit it inside the default chart of accounts. We have our residential cost of goods sold account. This is going to match up with our inventory valuation for residential. We have our outstanding receipts, payments, and our Chase credit card account. Right now we have this set as bank and cash so that when we create the journal, it allows us to create a bank and cash journal for this Chase credit card. Once we create the journal, we're going to categorize this to a credit card account, and I'll show you what that looks like. We have some fixed assets here, our retained earnings equity account, and commercial sales income account. Just make sure we have no mistakes here. All right. So now let's take a look at our products. Our products here, we have an external ID needed for imports and exports. We have the product external ID. So as you may know, we have the product template and the product. The reason why we're uploading both is because when we do our inventory count, we're going to need the product.product external ID to do that inventory adjustment. We have the name of the product, the cost, the sale price, and the category. These are not currently in the system, but we'll create them when we upload the product inventory. Keep in mind when we're doing our inventory count, the count is going to take the cost here, and that total is going to equal our stock valuation for this category that we have set. Because we're going to separate our stock valuations by category, is essential for this upload, and we'll talk a little bit more about it when we get to our trial balance, that these numbers match. We have our own open invoices here, our open bills, and referencing back to our chart of accounts, some accounts that we missed that we want to go over are these red accounts down here. These are what we call clearing accounts. We created these just for the purpose of importing our data and making sure our books are right. So we create these clearing accounts to offset our AR, AP, and inventory. So if you take a look at our open invoices, we're going to hit our invoice. Our account is going to be that 777 account, which on our chart of accounts is our AR clearing. And then once we post this, it's going to clear out our AR clearing, and it's going to hit our actual accounts receivable account, which you'll see what that looks like in a minute as well. Keep in mind, we have our number, our partner. These partners are not currently created, but we'll create them at the time of upload. It's probably best practice to have those in your system already. We have the bill date, the due date, the reference, so maybe the reference number for this in your old system, or the bill that it was associated with, or the sales order it was associated with. We have the unit price. So what we do here, for simplicity's sake, is combine everything that the customer owes you into one line, tax inclusive, because that tax account was already hit. So we want this to be in our accounts receivable. So we want that sum that is owed to you, tax inclusive, in one line. You can handle the individual lines in your old system for now, but this is the easiest way to import and get all of your numbers as accurate as they need to be. Then we have the account again and the label. Same thing with open bills. The only difference here is that we're uploading to 888, which is our clearing account for accounts payable. Now let's take a look at our trial balance. We'll just zoom in a little bit. This is the trial balance. This is the account number, the account. This is the account code, and this is the account. We have our debits and credits. Of course, these two have to balance out. You can see here that we have two different inventory valuations. And take a look at our accounts receivable. The total is 5342. That has to match your accounts receivable amount here. So all of your open bills, the total, if we do a sum, should equal 3,000, which it does. Same thing for, I'm sorry, that was our open bills. That's the accounts receivable. We want it to be 5342. We have 5342, and then 3,000 on our accounts payable. Same thing with our inventory valuation. We want it to match. In our example here, like I might have mentioned earlier, is that we're going to use Avco automated inventory valuation. So this amount here for commercial. So if we go to our inventory count now, we have our products, and this count multiplied by these products. So for example, if we bring this count over to our products and we check the sum for all of our commercial goods, we need to multiply this out. We'll do 5 times cost price, drag that all the way down, and then we'll sum this column. So we'll sum this column here, 79028, And if we double check our trial balance, we have 79028. And same thing with our residential. We'll sum our residential. And we have 271,791, 271,791. So everything matches up. We're good to go. We're good to start importing this stuff into the system. It's recommended that you take a practice run at this before actually putting it into your production database. So now I'm going to go into our database and begin the process by first importing our inventory. So I'm going to go to Products, Import Records, Upload our sample data. We have our products here. This is going to allow matching. We're going to do product category. Everything else looks good. We have our external ID, product external ID, name, cost, price, and product category. We're going to click test, and it's going to ask us if we want to create new values, which we do. So then we'll import this, and we have all of our products. So now the next thing we want to do is import our chart of accounts. So we'll go to Accounting, Configurations, Chart of Accounts, import our chart of accounts. We have everything set up here, test it out. There looks like there's an error at multiple rows. Let's take a look at what that is. So likely some of these accounts have changed the external ID from database to database, and you'll run into that if you're using different databases. So what we'll do quickly is export. We'll select I want to import this data. We'll copy this over. We'll paste values only. All right. So now we have. Now we just need to do a VLOOKUP and replace our current external IDs that have changed. So what we'll do is do that based on the code. So we'll insert this here, and we'll do a VLOOKUP. Inside of this table, and we'll return the second column false. And you'll see that some of those have changed. We'll just copy these over. And we'll just say values only, and we'll be good to go now. We'll delete this. And save. Let's go back and import our chart of accounts once again. So we'll import our records. Chart of accounts, test, and everything is good, so we'll import. Now we have all of our accounts that we need. Let's take a once over just to make sure that everything is good. I don't want to have any mistakes. Alright, looks pretty good. Now what we want to do is start the process of importing our balances. So it doesn't really matter the order too much. So let's start with our inventory count. Before we start our inventory count, we need to set our clearing account on our inventory adjustments. So if we go to inventory, locations, we're going to remove this filter and we're going to go to our inventory adjustment location, and we're going to set the incoming outgoing account to our 855 inventory clearing, and later on we'll remove this. So I'll save that. I'm going to go back into inventory. We're going to go to our product categories. We're going to look at commercial. Right now we have it set at manual. We could leave it at manual just to make sure that everything is correct, but we'll just do automated for now because we know that everything is going to be correct, hopefully. Now, the reason why you want to start with manual is because if you make a mistake, it's going to be harder to undo your mistake during a automated inventory valuation when you're adjusting the stock levels. So from here, what we want to do, we're going to set a FIFO removal strategy. We're going to set the income account here. This is commercial sales. Our cost of goods sold account is going to be commercial COGS. So right here. And now we have stock evaluation account. It's already set because that was the first defaulted one. And we're going to leave everything else as is, and besides the ABCO. So let's change that to ABCO, automated, with our inventory valuation account, income and expense account, and our removal strategy. Now we get to do the same thing for our residential. So we're going to do ABCO, automated. We're going to do first in, first out again, residential sales account, residential cost of goods sold, and we're going to change this to residential inventory valuation. So we'll save that. Now we're ready to go to inventory adjustments. We're going to import our records. Our inventory count, we have our product external ID, our counted quantity, and the location of the stock, which if you have no extra stock location, is just WH/stock, which is your warehouse name / the default stock location. If you've changed your warehouse name or the short code, you will have to adjust this. So we'll test, and everything looks good, so we'll import. Now all of our accounts came in. We can select all, and we're going to click apply. It's going to create the inventory adjustment. We can take a look at our inventory valuation. The sum is 350,820.33. We can upload our open bills and open invoices. And just to double check that value on our trial balance, we'll sum these two, and that is correct. So now let's import our invoices. Oops, we don't want to create. We want to import. We have open invoices. This is bill date. So everything looks pretty good. It's going to ask us if we want to create these partners once we click test, and we'll say create new values. Now we'll import those, and we'll double check that the accounts are set up. We have everything that we need, the invoice date, the due date. You'll see the journal items, debiting accounts receivable, crediting AR clearing. We didn't upload our trial balance yet, but all of these values combined will offset our trial balance, our clearing account, and have that clearing account set to 0 and our accounts receivable with the proper amount it's supposed to have. So we can post all of these by going to select all, action, post entries. We'll click force and post these entries. Same thing with vendor bills. We'll go to import records, upload file, sample data. Then we'll go to open bills. test this, create new values here, and import. We'll do the same thing, double check that the right account, clearing account got hit. Again, we're going to, the AP clearing is going to get debited, and now the accounts payable will be credited to increase the balance. So we'll post these entries. So we've completed mostly everything. We have our products in, open invoices, open bills, chart of accounts, our inventory count, and the last thing here is our trial balance. After we import our trial balance, there's going to be a couple things we're going to have to set up, but let's worry about the trial balance first. So what I'd like to do is duplicate our trial balance. And that is because we have to edit some of these accounts. The first thing we want to look at is our bank account. So because our bank account has a debit amount, we want to upload this to, instead of directly into our bank account, we're going to upload it to our outstanding receipts account for that bank. So I'm going to copy this code. I'm going to go back and forth for each one of these accounts, and I'm going to replace the code here. And the reason why we're uploading it to our outstanding receipts account is because we want to set the opening balance on our bank account, and the way to do that is by reconciling it with the value inside of our outstanding receipts. So for our credit card, since we have a credit, we're going to do the same but to the outstanding payments account. So we'll scroll down to that account number, which is 101-406. So for accounts receivable, what we want to do is take that AR clearing. Again, once we post this, the balance from our open invoices hitting that clearing account, and this debit is going to cancel it out to 0, and our actual accounts receivable account is going to get hit for the total amount. So after all of this, our numbers will be accurate in the system. So for our inventory clearing, we're going to change both these accounts to the inventory clearing. We don't have to do anything for our 2 fixed assets. The only other thing we need to do is for accounts payable, we're going to change that to our AP clearing account. Now from here, you can upload this into a journal. I like to do this manually just to ensure that I'm doing everything right. So I'm going to go and create a new entry. And we'll call this opening balance. We can leave that there and just reference opening balance. So I'm just going to drag this by, and I'm going to first add all the accounts. So 101-402, 101-406, 777, 85, then we have 151-600, 151-700, 888, 252, 301, and then 303, or 300. So now we'll just set the values here. And once you have all of this data set up properly in Excel, as you can see, it's relatively easy to make the transition. Of course, your data will probably be a little bit more complicated, but the entire process is generally the same. So what you should probably do is have all this data set up a testing environment, and go through the whole process to make sure that the books are accurate once you complete this process. So as you can see, our accounts are balanced. I'm just going to go ahead and save and then post this. Now what I want to do is a couple more things is go to our journals. We have our bank journal. We want to set an account number here. And this is going to allow us to create internal transfers to and from this bank account. So we want to make sure that we have this account number set. Of course, you can synchronize this if you wanted to. We're not going to go over that in this example. Next, we're going to go to our incoming payments, and we're going to set our outstanding receipts and outstanding payments account. So we have our outstanding receipts for Chase Bank. It should be outstanding payments. I'm sorry. So it should be outstanding receipts because this is incoming payments. And then we're going to do the same. Keep in mind this might be hidden by this kebab. So we want Chase Bank, outstanding payments. And we can save that. Next, we're going to create a new journal for our credit card account. So this is Chase credit card. It's going to be type bank. We're going to attach that Chase credit card. We're going to give it a short code and an account number. And what we're going to do is set the incoming and outgoing payments. So refresh the page. I have to redo that. Oh, there it is. So that all saved. We're going to do the incoming, outgoing. So for Chase credit card, outstanding receipts, and then outstanding payments. We don't need checks. So we'll do Chase credit card, outstanding payments. Last, what we want to do is open up this Chase credit card account, and we're going to switch it now to a type of credit card. Save it. Now it's a liability. Now we generally have everything set up. The last thing we need to do is import our opening statement balance for our bank and credit card. And to do that, we're just going to manually create bank accounts. If we wanted to online sync, if we want to use online synchronization, we could sync our bank account to the day of our trial balance, and that will give us an accurate opening balance that will be created automatically by our Odoo bot. So let's go and create a new statement for our bank. We're going to go back to our trial balance and get that amount that our bank account is supposed to be. We're going to say opening balance. We're going to set the ending balance. We'll save, post, reconcile to miscellaneous operations, and we'll select this right here and validate. So I'll go ahead and close that. Next, we're going to do the same for our Chase credit card. So we'll create a new statement. And this one's going to be a negative balance. because we owe the money. Post, reconcile, miscellaneous operations. We have that 4,500. We'll validate and we'll close the statement. So the last thing we want to do here is go to our configurations, chart of accounts. We're going to look for our clearing accounts. We'll select all, take away reconciliation, and we're going to select all again and make this all off balance sheet, so we won't see it on our balance sheet. Now we can go to our balance sheet and make sure this is all correct. We have our bank account with 112,292. Let's go to our original trial balance, 112,292, that's correct. We have our receivables account, 5342, accounts receivable, 5342. We have our inventory for commercial, 7902886. We have our residential, 271791 with 47 cents. That's all good. Fixed assets, 2,300 and 21,000 right here. Good to go. Some of our liabilities here. Credit card is 4,500. We know that's correct. We have our sales tax payable, 1,500. That's correct. Accounts payable, 3,000. That is correct. And finally, our retained earnings and capital investment, and those two are correct as well. So our entire balance sheet is all set up correctly. Now what we want to do is make sure that we remove those clearing accounts. So we're going to go to locations, inventory adjustment, and remove these clearing accounts. So that is essentially how we go live in accounting. Of course, you want to take a look at some of these other settings. Make sure you have your default taxes, your default accounts, your closing and opening periods, your rounding methods, how you want your checks to look, your invoices, whether or not you need batch payments, online payments, etc. But we do now have a working balance sheet that is accurate. We don't currently have anything in our profit and loss. But if we were to make a sale, we would have all those product moves with that automated inventory valuation. So that is all. If you have any questions, please feel free to get in touch.